Another game, another blank as Aston Villa draw 0-0 at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. We took on Everton. And let's talk about all the action or lack of from that stalemate on Merseyside. I think overall you have to say it's a hard-earned point, a decent point on the road in isolation for Aston Villa, but of course the lack of goals is what is going to get spoken about most. The only team in the top, 7 divisions is it, to not have scored a goal this season. 4 games, 0 goals, 2 points. There's no glossing over it. It's not a good start. But yesterday, the bar is very low at the moment, but I do think that was Villa's best performance of the season. And defensively, a pretty sound performance for me. And the man that will take the headlines from yesterday is Emi Martinez, who claims that number 1 jersey back. And he pulled off an absolute wonder save to earn Aston Villa a point. And that is exactly why he's back in the 11. You can't ignore a goalkeeper of that talent. He come over to the travelling fans at the end and he was greeted pretty positively, to be honest. He come over, he tapped the badge, incited that he's here to stay. We've seen all this kind of stuff before, of course. Whether he actually wants to stay or not is a different matter, but you can't help but feel confident that his head is in the right place, especially with that performance yesterday. He pulled off, they only had 2 shots on target, Everton. He pulled off a save from Grealish early on, which was one you'd expect him to make. But that save from Michael Keane's header from the Grealish cross was the moment of the match, really. And that was what earned Aston Villa a point in the end. And like I say, he came over to travelling fans at the end, showed he's still part of the cause, and he's desperate to do well. Whether this is his last season at Aston Villa or not, I can't help but feel confident after yesterday that his head is in the right place. And as I say, he was greeted positively from the away fans. They were singing his name. They were still singing the world's number 1, and he was applauded by pretty much everyone that was left in that small section of the Hill Dickinson Stadium. So, let's take a look at it, guys. Everton, 20 shots, just the 2 on target to Villa's 7 and 1 shot on target. The closest Villa came to scoring wasn't the shot on target, it was the Emi Buendia deflected shot that just crept wide. The away end was up, we were ready, waiting for that net to nestle, but it just didn't quite happen. Painfully crept past the post, didn't it? But just summing up Villa's season so far, and we haven't really come close to scoring much, but that was as close as we came, wasn't it? And first half, Buendia did have an opportunity. He took a shot on probably where he had more space to go into. But yeah, it's not looking great going forward. Is it defensively sound? Like I say, we had possession with 52% of the ball. But you can't pretend that Villa deserved any more than a point from that yesterday. And I was pretty relieved to get out of there with 1 in the end. And obviously, Emi Martinez, he wasn't the only man to come over to the travelling Villa faithful yesterday and come for a bit of an applause, maybe a bit of an apology, who knows. Jack Grealish also made his way over, and again, he was greeted pretty positively from the Villa fans that were left in the away end yesterday. He came over, he applauded the Villa fans, and they applauded him back. Very small sections singing Super Jack, not many at all. So Michael Owen can stop crying himself to sleep now, can't he? I posted that video yesterday, so I hope he sees it. And if he's got anything to say on that, probably not, as it's not negative. So that won't grab him any headlines, will it? But it's got to be said, Jack Grealish was the man we were worried about yesterday. Matty Cash did a fantastic job on him again, didn't he? He did last season as well when Man City visited Villa Park. Seemed to rattle him a little bit, getting his head a little bit. And he did a good job on him. And it's got to be said also, Evan Gesson, who came at half-time when Yuri Tillemans went off. That's just another issue to add to Villa's woes at the minute. But he came on and he was defensively pretty good, Evan Gesson. At times you can see he's raw. Touch sometimes isn't quite there going forward. But he did a defensive job yesterday and helped cash out, doubling up on Jack Grealish, and kept him very quiet, other than that delivery he put in for Michael Keane where Martinez pulled off the worldly save. Iliman Ndiaye as well, at times I forgot was playing. We wasn't expecting to see him play. David Moyes pretty much ruled him out the day before. I think he knew what he was doing there because he came back in from the off. But again, was kept pretty quiet as Villa defended very astutely. I think that Mings and Kunt's partnership is what works. For me, that's what we have to stick with. I mean, if you're not scoring goals, don't concede them, and take the point. Like I say, a point on the road, an informed Everton, momentum behind them, new stadium, isn't a bad point. It's got to be said. I was a little disappointed with the atmosphere. I did make the trip to the Hill Dickinson yesterday, obviously for the first time, as for every team going there this season. But it was quiet. I was expecting a bit more because things are going for them at the moment. They've got momentum behind them. I was expecting quite a big atmosphere, but it didn't get going at all. But it's got to be said, in fairness to them, the game didn't get going. It didn't really give either set of fans too much to cheer about, did it? The Villa fans were frustrated in that away end yesterday, particularly with Morgan Rogers, who did receive a little bit of not stick, but frustration. You can see the frustration on the Villa fans when he gets the ball. He's giving it away a lot. His form does need to be spoken about because it's just not happening for him, is it, at the minute? I'm not sure why. I mean, he played for England in the week against Serbia, didn't he? Got a fantastic assist. He played really well in that second half. So he was kind of hoping he was going to bring that form back to Aston Villa and put in a good performance this weekend, but it just didn't happen. It didn't happen at all. Unai just wants to persist with him. He doesn't want to take him off. He doesn't want to try anything different. He just wants to keep persisting with Morgan Rogers. I don't know whether the transfer speculation or the media talk about him. There's a lot of media hype around Morgan Rogers. I mean, you only had to scroll over X the other day and they're loving for him, which is great to see. I want to see that for Aston Villa players. It's fantastic, but I don't think they've quite caught on that he's not been at it for a little while now. Especially at the start of this season. But of course, we back him to return to form. I'm sure he will. I just think he might need sitting out for a game and trying something a bit different and maybe bring him on as a sub and see if he has an impact from there, because he's struggling. As is Ollie Watkins too. Them two are just not combining at all. Of course, a lot of people are going to say, and it is fair to say, he's not receiving any service. Is he? But he still needs to do more whenever he does get the ball. It just looks like he's lost a little bit of pace. I don't know why. He just looks slower. I don't know if he's carrying anything. I don't think so. But he needs to do more. He needs to do more when he does get the ball. It's just disappointing. I'm sure, again, like I say, similar with Rodgers, we know what he's capable of. Ollie Watkins has done it for years for Aston Villa. I'm sure he'll still end up between that 15 to 20 goal region. But he was so sharp in pre-season, and especially his heading ability was insane. But Villa just aren't putting any crosses in the box for him, in fairness. But it's not there, is it? I'm sure it will come. It's on to Tuesday now, isn't it? Is it Tuesday or Wednesday? We're playing the Carabao Cup. I haven't really paid that fixture too much attention, just because things aren't going too well in the league. But Villa could do with a good performance, and they could do with some goals in that game against Brentford. I'm sure we'll rotate. Villa will also rotate as well. But will it be an opportunity for Unai to try something maybe a tad different? Bring in a few players on the fringe, maybe a guest on from the start, maybe Marlon from the start. Will he potentially get a start up front? Maybe. Is it an opportunity for Elliott and Sancho? I think it is. Villa could do with some goals. We don't have a history of going for the domestic cups under Unai Emery. Even when we made it to an FA Cup semi-final, we didn't turn up. So I don't see Villa going far in the competition, but it might be an opportunity to build some confidence, get some goals, get that monkey off our back of having not scored a goal, because it is difficult at the moment with it's that unwanted stat, isn't it? And it's that unwanted media attention in terms of Aston Villa haven't scored a goal. God, they're a mess at the moment, and you can't gloss over it too much. Although I do think there were positives from yesterday's performance, especially defensively. Villa dug in, and on the road, like I've said a couple of times through this video, that is a hard-earned point on the road. The bar's low, but I do think that was probably Villa's best performance of the season. Like I say, the bar isn't particularly high. on paper, we haven't also had the trickiest of starts. Obviously, starting off at home to Newcastle, we got a point there with 10 men, which wasn't too bad. But I was optimistic going into that game. We were going to pick up all 3. That never happened. Brentford the following week. That was a shocking performance. You'd have expected 3 points there, of course. Crystal Palace again. I've got to be honest. I know Crystal Palace pull our pants down almost every time we play them, but at home, you're expecting Villa to put that right at some point and pick up 3 points, but that turned into a bit of a circus in the end with the transfer deadline day talk and the Emi Martinez rumours. It just became a bit of a mess that day, and then yesterday was a platform to build off. And as we've already said, if you're not going to win a game, certainly don't lose it. And there was a part of me that was worrying, is it going to get in Villa's heads? We need to score a goal, and they end up throwing the game and losing it 1-0 or something stupid. But no, we dug in, we took the point. I think Villa were happy to take the point. We was wasting time a little bit, especially in the later stages of the game. Martinez had the ball at his feet for quite long periods of time, or took his time with goal kicks, as he usually does. But yeah, we dug in and got that point. 2 points from 12. Doesn't make pretty reading, does it? Yeah, the league table. I try not to look at the league table too much at the moment in time, as it doesn't really matter too much, but a couple of wins will really see you up that league table, won't it? And I do back Villa to return to form soon. Obviously, Sunderland next week will probably pose a similar test to what yesterday did. Momentum behind them. I think they had a stalemate draw themselves yesterday, I believe against Crystal Palace. I haven't paid too much attention to the rest of the Premier League fixtures. When it's not going too well for Villa, I tend to just not want to watch too much football. But it will pose a similar threat. I think they'll fancy 3 points against us, but Villa undoubtedly have more quality, and if we're at it, if we get the goals flowing again, I'd back us to pick up 3 points. But we'll talk about that game when it comes. So yesterday, like I say, the talking points were mainly Emi Martinez and of course Jack Grealish. And just touching on Jack Grealish, it was obviously the player we were worried about most. I've got to say, he was kept pretty quiet. He was kept on a tight leash by Matty Cash, who pocketed him again like he did last season. As I've said, Gesson helped him out. With that, he came on at half time with the injury to Tielemans. I mean, that's just another problem to add to Villa's woes. I mean, our best midfield in the world song, that is really in the gutter now, isn't it? I mean, Bupa Kamara injured, Yuri Onana injured, Barkley, personal issues, and one of our own, Jacob Ramsey. He's no longer one of our own, so that song is definitely in the gutter. But hopefully it's not too long out for them, because we really, really, really need those reinforcements back. Lamar Bogard came in, did a decent job, particularly in that second half. I thought he played pretty well in that second half, in fairness to him. It was probably an opportunity he could have taken a shot on, which he didn't. That was the only real negative, but he did pretty well. Lindelof ended up in midfield too. I mean, you're talking about your Champions League quarter-finalists last season and now bringing on Victor Lindelof in midfield. What's gone wrong? We all know what happened over the summer, but that's no criticism of Victor Lindelof. I'm sure he'll be a good player, good squad rotation player for us, especially in the Europa League as well. So no discredit to him, but it just shows where Villa are at the minute. But like I say, I do back us to rediscover our form. Harvey Elliott, there was also a debut for him. Jadon Sancho didn't make it on the pitch. Harvey Elliott was buzzing around, looked eager, as you kind of would predict with a Harvey Elliott performance. That's the type of player he is. He's busy, gets about the pitch, wants the ball, and I'm sure that sharpness will come for him over time. Maybe we'll get that start on Tuesday. Maybe I'm sure Jadon Sancho will make an appearance there as well against Brentford, and Villa can bolster up the attack and get the goals flowing again, because we desperately need them. We desperately need them to come. So midweek game could be the opportunity to build some confidence potentially. We may just have to temper expectations in terms of the league, where we're going to finish. those Champions League spots already looking a long way off, aren't they? Again, a lot can change, as I've already said. A couple of wins can really boost you up that table. It's very, very early days, isn't it? But Villa have stood still, or you could say gone backwards in terms of the squad, whereas other teams have strengthened, haven't they? So even the European spots could be a difficult reach this season, but we do have the golden ticket of the Europa League, and that could be, as we saw it was for Spurs last year, the backdoor entry back into the Champions League, which could make a hell of a lot of difference for Villa in terms of the financial restrictions upon them. But yeah, so not much more to say on yesterday, is there? It's a point. We build on that now, and hopefully over the next couple of games the goals start to flow, and Villa can pick up a win or two. As always, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Always love to hear what you've got to say. What did you make of yesterday's performance? What would you change? What would you change for the next game? Like I say, always love to hear your thoughts, so drop those in the comments below. And guys, as always, round off with a big up the Villa.